Welcome to Attention to Detail, the classical music listening guide, where we give you the tools to understand, appreciate, and enjoy listening to classical music. Hey, it's Hannah Ruffett from the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra, and I'm the manager of artistic planning for the ISO, and I'm here joined again today with our associate conductor, Jacob Joyce. Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Hannah, how are you doing?
Very well. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. Nice day today.
Gorgeous, gorgeous day. So, in the last episode, you and I, we discussed the idea of activating our attention and listening attentively. And today, we're going to introduce practical techniques for helping our listeners understand classical music. So, Jacob, can you tell us a little bit about those techniques and your philosophy behind them?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, last episode was really all about activating the attention, trying to hear music in a more attentive way that activates our senses in a way where we can hear as many details as possible. Today we're going to start, as you mentioned, introducing techniques that our listeners can use right now, today, that require no background knowledge whatsoever of music, of classical music, and that will hopefully help to build our listeners' understanding of what they're hearing and move towards our listeners being able to build their own listening practice for any kind of music, including classical music. Now, one thing that we should deal with, and you asked about the philosophy behind these techniques, it's important to think about what music actually is and what we're dealing with here when we try to understand something like classical music, because it's an incredibly challenging and abstract art form. If you think about how music is actually conveyed, it's not in a language that we readily understand, like a novel or theater, which is in spoken dialect. Those are things that we are in a language that we speak every day, we think in, and so those are instantly made more tangible, and we're able to grasp those art forms a little more easily as a result of that. We take the example of visual art. That is in visual forms that we see in everyday life. Those forms might be abstracted, but those forms, color, the movement in paintings, that's all stuff that we see on a regular basis. Music is in a language that we don't interact with on a daily basis. I mean, we certainly hear sounds in our everyday life, but music is really its own thing, and it's, in that way, I think, maybe the most abstract of what we might consider the major art forms. And so it's important that when we're doing these techniques, and when we introduce these techniques, and it's important for our listeners to know why we do the techniques that we do, it's to make the art of listening to music more tangible and more accessible, so that we don't need any background knowledge in this specific, unique language to be able to understand it. And if we think about the way music works, music is really a constant string of ideas. If you think about a book, for example, a music like a book, and I just, of course, said that books are much more easy to understand than music, but if we take this analogy that music is like a book, it's comprised of chapters, which can be broken down to paragraphs, which can be broken down to sentences, to words, to letters. You know, the individual notes of a piece of music might be the letters or the words, and then those notes combine to make ideas, and those ideas combine to make what we might consider paragraphs or chapters, and that's really how music is constructed. The difference here is that, unlike something like literature, we have no periods, we have no pause, we have no signifier as to where these ideas are, and so it's almost like a stream of consciousness piece of literature in which there are no periods, and we're left trying to find where these ideas are. So I thought it would be a good place to start, the first of our three techniques, trying to understand what musical ideas actually are and trying to hear those individual musical ideas.
Nice. I mean, I really liked what you had to say about how basically music is so fleeting, which is which is why it's so amazing, but also so difficult, is when I am reading something in a book, I can go back to that passage, like you just said. But that's so hard to do with music, especially when you're listening to it live. So, how do you recommend listeners to grapple with the fleetingness of music?
I do think that's going to be challenging, and here I think the literature analogy can be especially helpful. Literature unfolds kind of in virtual time as you're reading it. Music unfolds in actual time. And so we, like you mentioned, if we go to a live concert, this is why, part of the reason why I think live concerts are so challenging for a lot of people who don't have a lot of background. It's a fleeting moment, and if we don't hear something, we've missed it, and it's gone. It's like opening up a bottle of wine. You and I are both wine fans.
We are.
It's like opening up a bottle of wine. Once you drink it, it's gone, and even the second you've opened it, it's already changing. It might not taste the same way the next day, and so music is a similar phenomenon. And so I think how we grapple with that will clarify itself over the course of time, the next few episodes, the next many episodes. But that's the point of this listening process that we're going to try to help our listeners build, is to have a way of dealing with that fleeting stream of consciousness nature of music, where we have to be able to understand the unfolding of these musical ideas in time. So today, that brings us to our technique for today, which is going to be the first in these series of techniques, as we mentioned, and it's going to be all about hearing and understanding individual musical ideas. So a musical idea is a really short clip of music. It's not going to be probably anything longer, except for in really slow music, than about 10 seconds, and maybe much shorter. And it's really going to be, it's the smallest building block of music above an individual musical note or one specific sound. So to get a little familiar with this, I want to play you, Hannah, our listeners, a few musical ideas that we'll all recognize that might illustrate this concept a little better. So here's the first musical idea from the classical world. So we probably all recognize that idea. That's the very opening of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. We don't need to know the name of that piece, but we've probably all heard that before. Here's a short, very famous musical idea from the pop world. This is kind of a throwback to when I was in middle school. Here's another musical idea. So did you recognize that one?
It's such a throwback.
Yeah, that was like the hit song.
Did you dance to that? Like,
yeah, like 7th grade. Yeah, I killed it at our
fall formal.
At our formal. This was in middle school. We were like.
Well, I had a fall formal. I think
in middle school.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I was a bad dancer. We'll leave it at that. So those are examples of very short musical ideas. Ideas can also be significantly longer. So I want to play for you a longer idea. Same concept though. It's a collection of a few notes that expresses one idea. Here's a longer one from the classical world. Now let's also hear one slightly longer idea from this is from the rock world. I don't know why I thought of this when I was thinking of musical ideas, but it's from one of my favorite scenes in any movie. Here, I won't ruin it. Here's the last musical idea we'll play. So every time I hear that, I can't get the image of Marty McFly soloing out of my head. Have you seen Back to the Future?
Yeah, I didn't know that you were such a fan. It's funny. I don't think I've told you, but I sang this song in middle school. We got a middle school connection going on. With
wow.
Yeah,
man.
Show choir, man.
Show choir. Oh,
middle school.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's what musical ideas are. They're the fundamental building blocks of all kinds of music, including classical music. And so our first task in building our listening practice is going to be simply to hear these ideas. And so It will be good. You can do this in the privacy of your own home, in the car, whatever you do with whatever music you like listening to, whether it be classical or something else. But try to listen attentively and just start hearing some ideas. What is the building blocks that are being used to build this piece of music, this song, whatever I happen to be listening to? It should be said, of course, that the goal of this is not to go to a concert and say, there's an idea, I heard an idea. That's not going to be particularly exciting or meaningful. But we want to start building the understanding of how music is constructed from the ground up by being able to hear those ideas. Now, that brings me to the first technique that we're going to introduce on this podcast. And that technique is going to be hearing ideas and noting those ideas or giving those ideas a signifier. What I mean by that is that when we hear an idea, it's trying to express something, just like a sentence, just like a brush stroke in painting, just like a line in a play. A musical idea is trying to express something, and often, as we've already mentioned, music is very abstract, so what it's trying to express is very abstract. But what we want to do is make those ideas more tangible for ourselves. And so when you hear an idea and you notice it, assign each idea that you hear an adjective, a color, an image, a food, a drink, a taste, whatever it may be, but assign it something that is more tangible than that musical idea itself, and you can relate to that idea in some way. When you're doing this, it's good to be as specific as you possibly can. So burgundy is going to be better than red. Joyful or ecstatic is going to be better than happy. And really find the specificity in noting these ideas through your attention to detail, through activating those senses and really trying to hear the music for what it is. Like I've mentioned before, this doesn't require any background knowledge of music theory or anything like that, and there is no right or wrong answer here. It's a very individual process of hearing, noting, and attaching a signifier to a given musical idea. So I want to try that. I want to try that with you, Hannah, if you're willing to do so.
Willing and ready.
Good. So first I'm going to play for you a clip of music. It's not going to be very long, maybe 30 seconds. Same thing that we did in the last episode. Listen attentively. Try to hear, if you can, any musical ideas. But then we'll break it down idea by idea and do this exercise of assigning a signifier. All right, so Hannah, just from a kind of attentive listening standpoint, what are your initial reactions to that?
Yeah, first of all, very lovely, but words that I'm thinking that are evoked from that are ideas are whimsy. It sort of leads, but it's also quirky in a sense, but then it goes into like this really nice, elegant, stretched position.
Yeah.
And then it goes back and forth from those two.
Excellent. So that's great. Now I'm gonna help you and our listeners this first time through, and let's listen to each individual idea. I'll break down the ideas for you, and we'll give them a signifier.
Cool.
All right, there's the first one.
All right. Do I just tell you what I'm thinking?
Yeah, give me an adjective, color, food, whatever floats your boat.
Oh,
as specific as possible.
Yellow, like canary yellow, because I'm seeing a bird like hopping around.
I like that one, actually.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, canary yellow. That's good. As specific as you can. Here's the
Right.
next one. So, how about that one?
Oh my gosh, so short. Sky blue. Like it's still animated like the one before, but just there's something leaning downwards that makes me feel as if it's like
Something more sky
sadder.
bluey. Something more sky blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Next one. Here's the next one. All right, give me something different than a color. This one.
I'm seeing like something something stretched like a slinky.
That's good,
Yeah.
actually. How about we'll use slinky. Is slinky an adjective? Slinkily.
Oh, slinkily.
Yeah, good. Excellent. That's our specific adjective. Here's the next one. What do you think?
I'm just seeing emotions now. So I'm seeing someone very joyously happy, but not exuberant, like just content.
Content.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, I'll throw a curveball at you. If you have to do a food, what would you give a food for that one?
Oh, gosh, I was thinking peaceful. So I guess I would say like a nice warm. I just made ramen, like not like the easy quick make ramen,
Quick
but
ramen.
like a
good
not
one.
a
good
good
one.
ramen.
Okay, good ramen.
Yeah.
Good ramen. Here's the next one. How about that one?
Bird.
Yeah, I like bird. It's exactly the same
Yep.
music as the beginning, so that's good. Your canary yellow. Okay, here's the last one. How about that one?
Proud.
Proud?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Especially that that ending chord that we just heard.
Good. Great job. All right, so let's try hearing this clip once more now that we've done that whole exercise, and really listen attentively and gear your attention towards those musical ideas. See if your listening changes at all from the first time now that we've gone through and gave each of those musical ideas a signifier. So how did that feel? Was that a different listening process from the first time?
Yes, it was. I mean, I definitely feel like I'm noticing the ideas a little bit more, and I'm
Uh-huh.
able to recognize like, oh, I heard that at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Excellent. Good. And I should point out that, of course, we're not assuming that people will get tons of meaning out of doing this, especially right away. The point is not to have this be our end understanding of a piece is, oh, that's sky blue, oh, that's canary yellow. This is just a means to making ideas more tangible and helping us to hear those ideas. So it's great that you're hearing more in terms of musical ideas, because that's really all we're trying to achieve here. But I think we do that much more effectively by attaching these tangible signifiers. Now, we're going to go now and I'm going to take a little risk here, and don't be scared. We're going to listen to a piece, late 20th century piece. It's uber contemporary music, which I think can be scary for a lot of people. But I think you'll actually find we'll do the exact same exercise. Just suspend any notions of what you expect to hear and listen attentively. I'll play you the clip, and then we'll, again, break it down idea by idea, and just same exercise, give each a signifier. So, again, task right now, listen attentively, try to catch as many details, activate your attention as much as possible. All right, initial reactions. That was actually the entire first movement of that piece.
Oh my
So
gosh,
you,
so sorry.
congratulations, you just listened to a full movement of a classical piece. So initial reactions, what did you think?
I mean, there's like really cool like randomness to it. Like
Uh-huh.
if I like owned a jazz club, I would like definitely throw my jazz pianist on the piano to play that like in the
Nice.
midst while everyone is just like talking, and I think those people would probably think that he's just like playing around on the piano, which he is, but it's a really cool, interesting piece. It's really thought provoking, which is really neat.
I'm glad you liked it. Now let's break it down idea by idea.
Okay.
All right, what signifier do you want to give that one?
That's it.
Yeah.
Mysterious. Like I've definitely heard those chords before on some like mystery show from like the 90s, like Murder She Wrote. Like it's definitely a scene change noise.
Very good, very good. Mysterious. All right, here's the next one.
Okay.
What do you think there?
Pouncing. Like I'm seeing like a cat just like jumping around.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Pouncing. Great. Here's the next one. What are you going to give that? Color.
Oh, a color.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, like scarlet.
Scarlet. Good, good. Scarlet. Next one. What do you think for that one?
It's stompy. I'm seeing like this fat man like stomping around.
I like that. You know, that one kind of reminds me of the Darth Vader
Oh yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I see that a little bit there. Okay, here's the next one. Give that one a drink. What do you think?
Gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, can it be alcoholic?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking a nice specialty drink. Excellent. All right, here's the next one. How about that one?
Oh gosh. I thought dead end all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like that feeling when you like hit a dead end and it's that end chord. It's like
Yeah.
what?
Dead end. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Here's the next one.
Sad. I see like a sad man wearing a sweater in a New York apartment full of books just wandering around.
These are very good. I can
Yeah.
see that too. Nice. All right, last one. Last one. What do you think?
Oh, you're just through. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, that feeling when you get at the end of a long, difficult day. You're like, done. Just like throw
Lie down
the
on the bed.
hands up. Yep,
Excellent.
I'm out.
Great.
It's a mic drop.
So I hope you felt that was actually, when we break it down like that, it maybe takes a piece like that, which seems very complex, and makes it a little more parsable, a little more understandable.
Yeah.
So let's listen once more, same thing that we did with the previous piece. We'll play the whole thing again, and now listen with that direction of trying to hear those ideas, see if it changes the experience at all of hearing this piece.
Okay.
So how was that?
Nice.
Did it change at all?
Yeah. Have you seen Hitchcock's Rear Window?
A
Are you
long
familiar?
time ago. Yeah.
So I am really seeing something very similar. It's an apartment building, and there's people inhabiting all the different apartments, and just this piece follows everyone in that apartment from a wide shot view of the apartment building.
I see, and all of those people are the ideas.
Yeah, all those people are the ideas, and it's like it's Manhattan and a very like cool, slick sort of vibe, and they're all doing their own thing, and maybe it's sad or maybe it's mysterious. So yeah.
Interesting, cool. Well, so the point of this exercise is to, again, start building that ability to hear those ideas, and in doing this process of signification, we'll talk a little bit more about this next time, but it really is going to engage our creative mind, it's going to engage our creative ear, and so it's important to activate the attention when we do this. That's why we started on the first episode just practicing that and really trying to hear these ideas as specifically as we can and then attaching them a signifier. This is something that you can definitely do both in the comfort of your own home and at the concert hall. If it's something you feel at all nervous about, then take any classical recording or any pop recording, anything that you'd like to listen to, and just practice hearing those ideas until you really feel comfortable hearing ideas, and then start, listening for some details and giving them a signifier. And as you build that ability, then I think you'll feel more comfortable. This is something also that you can do at the concert hall today, tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It's not important necessarily to catch every idea. You certainly won't be able to catch every idea when you first start, but just give it your best shot. You activate your attention. You're sitting there in a chair. It's a great opportunity to pay attention and try to catch the occasional idea and give it a signifier.
Nice. I'm really excited to even go back and listen to some of my favorite pop songs, because I think for myself, and I think for a lot of other people, I'm very lyrically motivated. Uh-huh. So I'm excited to go back and listen to some of my favorite Florence and the Machine songs and hear all of that amazing instrumentation that I've known that has always been there, but I've been too distracted by the poetic lyrics from the genius that Florence Welch is. So
well, there you go. I mean, so I think it's a great thing to practice with any type of music, and what our listeners will find. I mean, I'm obviously biased towards classical music, but part of the reason why this is a classical music podcast and why we're focusing on classical music is that it's so rich and diverse in the types of musical ideas, the frequency with your hit with musical ideas. And so it's a great thing to practice in any genre of music because you're really saturated with it in classical music. But this is something you can do today, tomorrow, and just start practicing hearing those ideas. Go to a concert, do the best that you can, and we'll come back next time and build on this technique.
Nice. I'm excited to try it at our concert tonight. So
excellent. Yeah, give it a go. We'll see. You'll tell me afterwards how it goes.
Will do.
Excellent. We'll see everybody next time. For more information about this podcast, you can find us at attentiontodetailpod.com, where you'll find a list of techniques presented in these episodes and a 2-week program for starting your own listening practice. You can also find us on all of your favorite social media channels. We encourage you to follow us, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and if you enjoy the show, please give us a rating. We hope to see you soon at a concert.